welcome back to my channel. And on today's tutorial, I'm going to be teaching you guys how to stop your makeup from becoming oily or shiny. That is a problem that I have a lot and constantly. I do have really oily skin, and recently my face has gotten even more oily. Like literally I could go only 30 minutes with like flawless matte foundation, and then 30 minutes later like my nose and my T-zone is like so gross and oily. I hate it, but I have found a method that has helped me so much, and I could literally go on hours without having to retouch my makeup, and it's amazing, and I hope it could help all of you guys that have the same problem that I have. I have gotten a few ideas from my fellow YouTubers, and it just has helped me, so I hope my method can help you guys and can expand your knowledge on how to prevent your face from becoming all oily and nasty and shiny. Another thing, I get tons of questions about my hair and my contacts. The hair that I'm using is the Bellamy hair extensions. This is the Bugatti set, the 340 grams hair extension. They are absolutely gorgeous and super long. These are 22 inches. If you guys are interested in purchasing these hair extensions, I will leave the link to them down in the description box. I also have a coupon code for you guys for some money off. And for my contacts, which is the #1 question here on my channel, is what contacts do I wear? And these are the Desio Lens contacts in the shade Desert Dream, and these are the these are the green ones. And I also have creamy beige. They're not beige, they're just like gray kind of. And without further ado, if you guys want to know how to stop your makeup from becoming oily, just keep on watching. Alright guys, so we're gonna get started, and as you can see, I have no makeup at all, no primer, no foundation, nothing. So we're starting off with a clean face. And as I mentioned earlier in the intro, I have really oily skin, especially lately. I don't know why my face got so oily, so I have been trying a new method and it's been working amazingly. So for the first step that you're supposed to be doing is setting your face with some setting spray. So if you guys are familiar with makeup, I'm pretty sure you guys are, setting spray is used after you apply your full face of makeup, and what it does is basically, like, let's say glue. So it's just like a layer of glue over your makeup, so it makes it last longer and it makes it last all day. So this is basically gonna do the same thing for us, but before we apply our makeup. So it's gonna give us that light layer of glue to protect us from the oils coming out. I'm gonna be using the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Spray and Set, and this is the matte one. They also have a dewy finish one, which is obviously not for me, because if you guys have oily skin, you want to stay away from dewy products. Well, if it's your preference, I don't like dewy whatsoever because I don't want to add any more dewiness or oil to my oily skin, so I just stick to the matte, and this is the one I'm using today. I also love using the Mario Badescu Rose Water. That one is actually so amazing. It's one of my favorites, but on Halloween I was using it all over the place, so it got misplaced and I can't find it anywhere. So for today, this is the one we're going to be sticking to. And what we're going to do is just spray your face normally like you would after your makeup is on. So let's start. This is just the first layer of our anti-oil protection. Okay, so for our next step is going to be priming our face, and this is a normal step before you apply your foundation, especially if you guys have oily skin. It is very important to be applying a primer. It gives you that extra barrier before the oil seeps through your foundation. So this is really important, and the one that I'm going to be using today is the Dermalogica Hydro Blur Primer. This is my favorite primer ever. I love it because I have like literally pool-sized pores. They're so huge, so this gives you that effect that your pores are so smooth. It basically makes you look like you have Facetune on your face in real life. Like, it's so awesome. I like to wear this even when I don't do my makeup at all, but I want that flawless kind of face but without foundation look, you know what I mean? And it also leaves your face very matte, so that's another big plus because you want the most mattification, is that even a word, as we can get. A little bit of this goes a long way, so just use a little bit on the tip of your fingers. And I'm mostly oily around my T-zone, so that's where I'm going to be focusing the primer on. And excuse my blue hands if you guys can see that. They are clean, they're clean. It's just that I was playing with one of my boyfriend's DIYs. If you guys didn't know, my boyfriend actually has a YouTube channel. So I will leave it down in the description box so you guys can go check him out. But he did a recent video and he's actually walking in water. Like, what? Yeah. So it's really cool. You guys should go check it out. It's so fun. And I was playing with some of the things that he used for it. So that's why my hands are blue. Now I'm just going to be blending the primer as you normally would if you guys apply primer on the daily. I don't know if you guys can tell, but it instantly mattifies your skin if you have like a little bit of shine or whatever. And it gives that blur effect on your face. It's so awesome. Alright guys, and now for the third step out of 15. No, I'm just kidding. So for the third step, I'm going to be using translucent powder and a big fluffy brush. We are going to be breaking a makeup rule, which is a big no-no, and that is to apply powder before foundation. That is super critical. You don't ever do that, but since we have oily skin, we are allowed to break rules today. So I'm going to be using the translucent powder, and I'm going to be dusting it around my T-zone. If you guys get oily all over your face, you can definitely go ahead and apply the translucent all over your face, but since I normally get oily just on my T-zone, that's where I'm going to be applying the powder. Just make sure that when you apply this, you're applying a very minimal amount. You don't need a lot. This is just going to be like another layer of protection for the oil. Just make sure to apply just a little bit, not a lot. So for the translucent powder that I'm going to be using is the new Color Invisible Matte Setting Powder. And I'm just going to be using my big fluffy, and make sure you just tap off all the excess. You don't want a lot. And I'm going to be applying this on my T-zone only. We're just basically giving ourselves layers of protection before the oil seeps through our foundation. Okay, so for the next step, I'm going to be using my foundation. And today's foundation, I'm going to be using the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation in the shade 220. If you guys saw my other video on how to get flawless foundation underwater method, I had bought a new one of these foundations and I didn't realize that I had bought a dewy finish. So I was like, what the? I was so mad, so I had to go and pick up my matte. This is my favorite matte foundation. I have other ones, but I feel like at the end of the day, it just looks really cakey, and I feel like this one has a very high coverage, but really light on the face. So I really recommend this foundation if you guys have oily skin. And also remember that if you guys have oily skin, do not wear, well, it's recommended not to wear dewy finishes just because it will increase the oil and the shine in your face. So we're trying to minimize that. So a matte foundation would be the perfect decision. I'm gonna go in with this foundation and my Real Techniques beauty sponge, and I'm just gonna be applying this how you normally would apply your foundation. And then after, I'm gonna go with my Maybelline Fit Me concealer in the shade 20 Sand. Alright guys, and for the last step, we're going to be setting our face with translucent powder. I normally set my face with the MAC Studio Fix, but I noticed a big difference when I actually baked my whole face. This just helps mattify the oil, and it just takes it a lot longer to kind of seep through the foundation. So I'm just going to be stacking this right on top. For this step, I'm going to be using the beauty sponge. I want this to be really packed on, and this doesn't make your face look cakey. If you're using a translucent powder, it will not make it look cakey. So I'm just going to be stacking this all over the foundation. Alright guys, so now that we're all powdered up like a powdered donut, there's two things that you can do. If you guys don't want to do the water method, you could definitely skip it, but I truly recommend you guys do this step because it has literally changed changed my life completely. It is so good to keeping your foundation looking flawless and matte for a really long time. The day that I actually tried this method out, I didn't even do all these steps before, and my foundation lasted so long. So it's incredible because normally my foundation will start getting oily within an hour of doing my makeup. So this method is insane. I'm not gonna go through it too much because I already did a separate video focusing on that water method. So if you guys want to go check that out, I will leave it down in the description. But all I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be submerging my whole entire face underwater. That is the method that I recommend most doing if you want to keep your foundation on lasting longer. And of course, if you guys have like a special event to go to, make sure to try the water method. Another thing is, oh yeah, a lot of people asked what kind of water to use, and I use normal tap water, not cold, not hot. So it doesn't really matter, and you leave your face underwater for 30 seconds. If you guys don't want to try the water method, what you can do is just leave the baking powder on while you're doing the rest of your makeup and then come back and swipe it all away, and that will give you sort of the same effect. But I just feel like the water method kind of gives you a flawless porcelain looking face. And yeah, a lot of people were saying to just put water in a spray bottle, kind of like this one, but it does not work the same way. Just because when you spray your face with this kind of material, if you were to put water in here and then you were to spray your face, it doesn't completely like wet the face. I don't know if that makes any sense. Just when you dip your face underwater, the water is really smooth, so it gives that smooth like silkiness on your face. I don't know if that made any sense, but just this versus dipping your face in the tub is not the same thing at all. So I'm gonna go do that right now and I will be back. Okay everyone, so this is how the face looks. I just got out of the shower basically. Gonna let it air dry for a little bit, and I'm just gonna pat it dry just a little bit, just so the process can like, you know, hurry up because I don't have all day. So this is the last step. Like I mentioned, if you guys want to see a whole tutorial on this water dipping thing, I will leave it down in the description box. Now I'm just gonna go put the rest of my makeup on and let this air dry just a little bit more, and I will be right back with some final thoughts. Alright guys, I am back, and this is with the full face of glam. I cannot stress enough how obsessed I am with this method. I hope you guys try it out. As you can see, there's no shine in my face. I hope this was informative and helpful to all my beauties out there that struggle with the oil just like me. I know the struggle. I will leave the links to the hair extensions, to the contacts, and to my water method foundation down below in the description box. I want to thank you guys all so much for watching. If you want to be more in contact with me, you can follow me on my social media. I have Snapchat and Instagram. I will leave those down in the description box. Thank you all so much for watching. I love you all so much, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.